Hey guys, Metal Viking 82 here, back with a new Viking Orations. Got another review for you today, and this time I'm going to be talking to you about the debut demo from the band Flesher, entitled Murder Sessions. Now, if you're not familiar with Flesher, they are a death metal band out of Indianapolis, Indiana. Been around since just this year in 2022, so relatively young project here, featuring Paul Breese. I don't know how to pronounce your last name. I apologize. On the guitars and vocals, you have Gus Matracia on the bass, and finally Dustin Boltius on the drums. He, of course, is formerly of Demiricus, Cult Hammer. He's in Sacred Leather. Bunch of other projects that he is either in or has been in. But yeah, as I said, this is the band's debut demo. It is 3 tracks, just a little over 10.5 minutes in length. And honestly, I was unaware of this band, despite them forming just this summer, apparently, until news of the demise of Demiricus went all over Facebook. It wasn't that long afterwards that Dustin posted about this brand new project. And honestly, partway through the second listen on Bandcamp of this demo, I purchased it and immediately put it on my phone because it just kicked my ass from the very first listen that I had to go back for a second. Like I said, got only part of the way through and I had to buy it. Yeah, the guitars on here, they're heavy and crunchy. They hit you with these, mid to fast-paced riffs, though it kind of mostly tends to go more for the mid-paced riffing, I feel. And then at times they settle into a nice, slow and heavy, chuggy groove that just gets your head banging. When I'm listening to this demo, I hear elements of like Cannibal Corpse, Morbid Angel. I even hear some Aeon and even some Bloodbath. Some examples here. In track number 1, Wisconsin, about 35 seconds into it, the riff here reminds me of the riff in the song Eaten by Bloodbath. And then each time it appears, that's all I can think about is that, man, that sounds so much like Eaten, or at least it gives off that similar vibe. Then you get into track number 2, Curse. That opening riff has a serious Aeon vibe to it, in my opinion. And then finally, the closing riff of track number 3, Tomb of Blood, sounds like Cannibal Corpse. It's the riff that comes in just before that kind of, dun dun drum beat. But yeah, if you're going to have these kind of elements in your sound, I mean, those are the bands you want to go for, I say. The bass on here is thick and heavy with this slight, dirty, kind of fuzzy sound to it, giving it a bit of a Mortician vibe, which, I'm a huge fan of Mortician, and so that definitely was good in my book. It's not overly high up in the mix. It does kind of work more in tandem with the guitars to build a nice wall of heaviness throughout these 3 tracks, though it does come through more at times. And I really noticed that in track 3, that's when it seemed like it came through the most. Yeah. As usual, though, Dustin's drum production and performance is just spot on here. I especially love the kick drum sound that he got on this demo. Lots of nice patterns, rolls, and fills, solid double bass work, and blast beats. Topping it all off are Paul's vocals, which are really powerful growls that are also very intelligible. He even goes a bit lower at times, and he even throws in some really nice screams here and there. Some of the other things I picked out while listening to this, going back to the opening track, Wisconsin, at the 144 mark, I love that kind of extended that he does. And yes, that was a terrible impersonation. I apologize. But yeah, and then that is followed by this, chuggy, head-bangable riff. And then at about the 153 mark, he does this really low growl. And then it goes right back into that heavy, chuggy riff. Like I said, that's the kind of thing that, as you listen to it, you're just like, just really get your head banging. And then going back to track number 2, Curse. At the end, when he says the line, what could have, and then he kind of pauses for just a brief second that says, been. I love that kind of echoey effect on the growl as it kind of, echoes and then fades out into the next track. Really loved that. Overall, I think this is just an absolute banger of a demo. I mean, it's heavy, yet it has that groove to it that really gets the head moving and gets the head banging. And honestly, that catchiness really makes you want to go back to it over and over again. And, when I get the itch to listen to this demo, I listen to it, multiple times. It's like I might put something else on and then I end up coming right back to this demo. It's just so good in my opinion. It's only 3 tracks, but during their 10.5 minutes that they are, duration, I should say. They just kick you in the face and leave you battered and bloody, and yet, like a glutton for punishment, you come back for more, and that's a sign of a great demo, in my opinion, or even a great album. Just, music that has that kind of effect on you is, the kind that you want to hear, especially these days. Definitely keep an eye out on these dudes, as they've only just begun. From what I understand, there is talk of the recording a full-length album to be released next year sometime, so I'm definitely looking forward to that. And there's even talk that this demo might get a physical release on tape. I'm really hoping that is the case, because even if these songs end up being on that full length when it comes out, I would definitely love to have a physical copy of this demo. Because sometimes bands, when they record like demo songs for a full length, they end up changing it, and sometimes it's not as good as what it was on the demo. So I would really love to have a physical copy of the demo as it is, just in case that happens with the full length album, if these songs were to make it on that album. But yeah, I would give this a solid 9.5 out of 10. Only reason it does not get a 10 is because it is only 3 tracks and 10.5 minutes long. But other than that, I mean, it is absolutely solid. Go check these guys out. I will be leaving a link down below so you can check this out for yourself. Pick up a digital copy, and then keep an eye out in case they decide to do the physical release of this, and pick up a copy if you like what you hear. That is going to do it. Thank you guys so much for watching and subscribing. And until next time, stay brutal.